Okay, the next signpost we're going to discuss is the aha moment. Oftentimes, this is when a character realizes or begins to realize something that's going to change his or her actions and thinking moving forward. When a character realizes, understands, or finally figures out something, you need to stop and ask yourself, how might this change things moving forward? If it's about a problem, it's going to tell you something about the conflict. If it's a life lesson, it's going to tell you something about the theme. So it kind of depends on what the aha moment is. If they're having an aha moment about a life lesson, it's typically about the theme. If they're having an aha moment about a problem, that's going to be more so geared towards the conflict. Okay, so kind of some hints or clues that you can keep an eye out for that's going to tell you this is an aha moment. Maybe something like a character saying, I realized, or suddenly I knew, or maybe even now I know why. Okay, so some of those questions that you're going to ask yourself is, what might the characters do now? How might this change things going forward? So let's go ahead and we need to look at some of the most important words from our definition first. So I want you to take out your notebook, and in your interactive notebook, I want you to go ahead and turn to that flip book that we were working on that we had glued in. On the first page, we already have our definitions down for all 6 of our signposts. So while looking at those definitions, we need to go through and find the words that are popping out to us or sticking out that have the most importance to help us understand these terms. Okay, so when I'm rereading the definition again, I'm looking out for words that catch my attention. Some of those words are realizes. Now, an aha moment is a realization of some sort for our character. So we're going to go ahead and highlight that word first. So go ahead and highlight realizes. Another word that really sticks out to me is changes. This aha moment typically is a pivotal point for characters. It's a point where characters are going to be changed from that point on, whether it's behaviorally or motivationally or thinking or actions. You know, it's going to somehow change our character as the plot progresses. The other words I want you to go ahead and highlight are actions, because that's what's going to be changed, the actions, and even the thinking. So you can highlight that as well. Okay, so the aha moment is a big realization for our character. It's going to change him or her in some way. So let's go ahead and move forward. The next thing I want you to do is go ahead and turn the page again. You want to go ahead and look at the first column of your notes in the flip book. You'll notice that you're going to have a column that says Tuck Everlasting Example. Now, what I want you to do is, we've already pulled quotes out from the book that really emphasize our signposts. So the one that's going to kind of back up our aha moment is found on page 86 of Tuck Everlasting, and it says, "The Tucks were right. It was best if no one knew about the spring. She would keep it a secret." Now, as the reader, you might want to ask yourself, how is this going to change things? Okay, so at this point, Winnie now realizes that she has to help keep the secret. This could impact the story going forward, because if anyone else knows or finds out about this secret, there are going to be consequences for the Tucks. Okay, now on the other side of it, Winnie's also complicating it, because now we have to be concerned about how Winnie's going to be returned home now that she's been kidnapped. Okay, now that she's deciding to keep this secret. So for that first column under the Tuck Everlasting Example, you need to go ahead and answer that question. Okay, now when you're answering that question, you're not just copying and pasting and writing this answer down, but you need to tell me and describe this quote to me. Okay, why this is the aha moment. Okay, moving on to my second example here. For my second example, it says, "For the only thing she could think of was the clear and terrible necessity. May Tuck must never go to the gallows. Even if she were the cruelest of murderers and deserved to be put to death, May Tuck would not be able to die." So as the reader, once again, you're asking yourself, how might this change things in my plot? How is this going to affect my story? Okay. So at this time, after reading this quote, both Winnie, our main character, and myself as the reader, we're realizing that if May is put to death, the family secret's exposed. Okay. So this is really, really important and critical, because it's creating a new conflict in the story. So we need to kind of pay attention as the readers as to how this is going to be resolved. Alright, so what I want you to do next is go ahead, you should have your first column filled out now for your Tuck Everlasting example. Remember, you want to make sure that you are answering the question of how might this change things in regards to the quote. Okay, so you're describing how this quote is really exemplifying your aha moment and explaining it. Now, for your next column where it says video example, you're going to go ahead and turn to the next slide in the blend space. Watch the video and then go ahead and you're going to give another example and explain why that video exemplifies the aha moment. Okay.